Well, there has certainly been a lot of scrutiny over which businesses Canadians are supporting these days, whether it's groceries or online purchases. There is a huge push to support Canadian.
Adam Eisner joins us this morning with some insight into how this all works. Adam, it's good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, listen, we want to start with you're part of a not-for-profit organization known as CIRA. Tell us a bit more about that, if you could.
So CIRA is the organization that's responsible for actually operating the .ca domain name extension in Canada. So whenever anybody sees a .ca online, CIRA is the organization that's actually operating that domain name extension.
Now, since the whole tariff war began, I imagine there's a lot more interest for people to pick up a .ca domain.
Absolutely. We are definitely hearing from Canadians more than ever that they want to shop Canadian and they want to support Canadian businesses online. So we have definitely seen more interest in individuals and businesses acquiring .ca domain names so they can target Canadians in Canada with products and services that are very specific to Canadians. And what's also been interesting is that for years we have supported small businesses in Canada, and we have produced lots of guides and information on how to shop Canadian, how to find a Canadian business online. And ever since this tariff war talk and all of what's happening online, certainly the interest and traffic that we've seen to all of that has just gone through the roof. It's really been remarkable.
Yeah. Adam, curious, do a lot of businesses, do they struggle whether or not to go with a .com extension or a .ca?
I don't know if it's necessarily a struggle. There are 3.4 million .cas on the internet now, so it's definitely an established brand that is quite big online. And so, in fact, it turns out in our research that we found out that Canadians are 4 times more likely to purchase from a .ca than they are from a .com or some other extension when they're shopping online. But it's definitely the case that .com is out there, and there are a lot of .coms online. And so what we like to say is, if you're thinking about targeting Canadians and you really want to tell a Canadian story, even if you have a .com, you're going to want to get a .ca as well, so you can be specific in targeting Canadians, which is a really big market online. So we say you should lock down both.
Does it exclusively mean if you have a .ca that you're a Canadian company, or can an American brand pick up a .ca?
So to get a .ca, you have to have a direct connection to Canada. And so whether that is a Canadian corporation or you are a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident, there's 20-something categories for that. You definitely have to meet one of those in order to get a .ca. So what that does mean is there are multinational, larger corporations out there that have a Canadian presence, that'll have a Canadian website, often aimed at Canadian citizens with Canadian dollars and Canadian shipping. Those certainly exist, but it means that they still have a location and tie to Canada. And in our research and our information, there are less than 1% of .cas that are owned by companies with more than 100 employees. And so what that means is that there are a lot of small businesses, a lot of individual businesses in Canada that are using their .cas, that are buying .cas to target Canadians. And so, we're pretty excited to be a big part of that ecosystem.
Yeah, just finally, where does all the money go when you register a .ca domain?
So a lot of the money goes back into making sure that .ca is safe, stable, and secure. So, in the environment that the internet is these days, that never gets easier. And so certainly a lot of the investment goes back there, but we also invest a lot back into the Canadian internet ecosystem. So every year we give out more than $1 million in grants, for example. That grant window is open right now, and so we'll give back to projects that may be a course on online harms, or it could be bringing more internet, more broadband, faster internet to a rural community in Canada. We'll distribute that to a number of different initiatives every year, and so that's a big piece of what we do as well.
Really interesting, especially as we're all looking to support Canadian more than ever. Adam, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
This portion of the morning show is brought to you by CIRA. Choose Canada. Choose.ca.